I'm going to create a group called drums, and I'm going to select the kick all the way through the overheads. I'm going to type Command G, and I'm going to call this drums. I'm going to use the letter D. So now every time I move one fader, all of them move. I'm going to do the same for the electric guitars. Command G, E gets electric. I'm going to use the letter E. For acoustic guitars, I'm going to do the same. Acoustic, and I'm going to use the letter A. Hit OK. For the background vocals, Command G, B, G, V. I'm going to use the letter B, which is already there. Why do I do this? If you notice here on the left, I have the group selected. That means the group is active. If I hit Shift Command G, the groups are deactivated. If I do that again, they're activated. I can also activate the groups by typing the letter that I use to label the group. For example, for drums, I use the letter D. So if I type D, it activates and deactivates the group. The same goes for electric guitars. If I use the letter E, it activates and deactivates the groups. Acoustic, A. Background vocals, B. And I use the first letter of the name to make it easier for me to remember to use the right letters when I'm doing that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a VCA for the drums, stereo, and I'm also going to create a drum bus. So that's going to be a stereo auxiliary input. Just going to bring them to the right here. I'm just going to call this DVCA. For the drums, I'm just going to call this drums. Or let's say D bus. And label them, color them red. Like the rest of the tracks. Now I'm going to select a group for the VCA. And I'm going to select the drums group. So now when I move the VCA, it moves all of the drum tracks. I'm going to create another auxiliary, and I'm going to call this stereo. This is going to be my mix bus. And I'm going to set this one next to the master track. Color that red also. I'm going to solo save the mix bus. Solo save the drum bus. I'm going to route the drum bus to the mix bus. And my mix bus is going to my main 1 and 2. I'm not going to create buses for the rest of the tracks this time. I'm going to keep the session very simple, especially for those that may be just starting out and are having a difficult time understanding bus. It can get very complicated or it can be very light. It all depends on your workflow and how advanced you are. In this case, I feel that I can get away with not creating a lot of buses. And I will also be able to see all of the tracks in one screen. I want to make sure that I route my drums to the drum bus before I move on, because I didn't do that earlier. And I'm just going to the track here, which I've already created, and I'm gonna go to, it's called the D bus. Where is it? Here it goes. And I sing, double check my level. And I sing. The next thing you want to do, or the next thing that I do, is set my volume level for my speakers, and I already have that at about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and that's pretty loud, so that's a good comfortable level for me. So I know that my faders, what they sound like right now, and what I want them to sound when I get to my final output mix level. And